Jonathan Joss was an American actor and musician of Native American ancestry. In 1994, he appeared on the television series Walker, Texas Ranger. Joss provided the voice of John Redcorn from seasons 2 to 13 of the animated series King of the Hill, replacing the original actor Victor Aaron after Aaron's death in 1996.
Welcome.
Jahan Redcorn.
Peggy Hill.
Hey, speaking of the Red Man, it's John Redcorn.
Hey, what a coinky-dink.
He also portrayed the recurring role of Chief Ken Hotate in Parks and Recreation.
Thank you for coming. Would you like some water?
Water? Like fire water? That's racist, and I do not appreciate it.
No.
I'm just messing with you.
Oh!
Joss was a musician and performed as part of the Redcorn Band, a reference to the character he voiced in King of the Hill. Before his death in June 2025, Joss returned for the King of the Hill revival series and had begun recording. On June 1st, just hours before his death, he uploaded an Instagram video of himself walking around Austin and noting how he already recorded lines for 4 King of the Hill episodes. Joss married Tristan de Gonzales on Valentine's Day in 2025. On January 23rd, 2025, Joss lost his San Antonio home, as well as 3 dogs, with a 4th missing, when his house caught fire. It had earlier been vandalized.
I've been dealing with the city of San Antonio for the last 6 months. I've had 4 neighbors basically say that my house is not worth living in. The house is in my name. Since then, they have changed. No electricity, no gas. They took everything out. It's been so cold lately that my partner and I have been doing a fire inside to stay warm. Because for whatever reason, the city of San Antonio wants to tear my house down. 4 neighbors. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but your neighbors can say that your house is not worth living in. While I was out of town, it was vandalized. They took wires out. They knocked my pole down. So the city, no electricity, no gas. So in order to stay warm, we did the best we can. I was just told that one of my dogs died. Please, people of San Antonio, you guys need to know that we in Texas and San Antonio lead the number of homes to be demolished. If you have a neighbor that says your home's not worth living in, this neighbor over here has pulled a gun on me 3 different times. An AK-47 he pulled on me, and the court did nothing. The police did nothing. These kind of things happen when people have to do things to stay warm. It was my mistake. We checked every fire, and we thought there was no fire burning, but evidently it was one that burned. This is a house I grew up in. If neighbors want you out of your house, they'll push you out of your house. There's times around here where they say, let it burn. They say negative things about my partner and I. I'm gay, man. And for some reason, the people don't want me here. That's fine. It was my mistake. But this is my house. My house. And I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here, or I'm going to sell it to somebody who deserves to live here. Buy the property, please. Please. This house was built by my dad in 1957 for my mom. It's very interesting, this street. We don't have any sidewalks. We don't have any fire hydrants. The only good fire hydrant is at the end. So for Dorsey to be treated like this, it's not fair. It really isn't.
Did you accidentally?
Evidently I did. It's my fault. You know, or if somebody came in and did something, who knows? My fence is knocked down over here, right where my partner's standing. We came home, that's been knocked down. People get in my house all the time. I turned everything off. But you know what? Who am I to say anything else? This neighbor again pulled an AK-47 on me. And the police said there was no witness. You can look at it, it's documented. My witness was standing right there. He was standing, we were in my truck together when he pulled the gun and pulled the trigger. And no one does anything.
Oh, look at me! Your shoes are like a boat.
Joss attended the 2025 ATX TV Festival in Austin, Texas, with other King of the Hill cast members on May 29th, 2025. However, he said he was not invited to the panel and showed up in the audience instead. An attendee stated on Reddit that Joss interrupted the King of the Hill panel, bringing up his house burning down, which he felt was arson directed at his homosexuality.
I'm learning through mistakes, of course, how important communication is in a relationship. And doing those special things for that person that you care about. You know, my wonderful husband and I said, well, be in California and, keep it kind of spicy. Just kind of role playing, and I said, Cabana Boy. You know, Cabana Boy, California. And he, of course, says, I've got the perfect outfit. I was like, all right. So, Cabana Boy.
What? I thought you said banana.
No, Cabana, not banana.
Tomato.
Cabana?
Banana.
Banana. It's a banana.
But it was just really great. We were part of something that meant a lot to him. You should have sent me on Vicky Lawrence. Man, I'm telling you, I mean, he was not that happy when we got married.
Oh my God.
He wasn't.
I was happier when we got married.
You gotta take a look at this. Ready? Show your shoes, Daddy.
These are some foreign shoes made over there in the European country. They have steel toes. They have iron shanks in them. The only reason he wore them here is we knew he was going to get really excited, and he starts flapping. He would have taken flight. He would have. We were shooting from over here, but no. That's why he wore the really heavy shoes, so he would not take flight. No, but anyway, guys.
A day before his death, he appeared on a King of the Hill podcast and answered questions. When asked whether he had given up drugs and alcohol, he said, I've already lost everything. My house burnt down. I ain't going to give up drugs. I ain't going to give up drinking. They're my friends. On June 1st, 2025, Joss and his husband were driven by a woman to their burned-down home to check the mail. A confrontation occurred between Joss and a neighbor who had been feuding. A witness reported hearing 3 gunshots and seeing Joss with wounds to his neck and torso.
Audio and video coming from a security camera at a home along Dorsey Street where that shooting happened. Take a listen.
No está. Y no está. No está la troca.
He was pronounced dead at the scene. A suspect was arrested shortly afterward. The suspect told police, I shot him, after being taken into custody. Neighbors told a local TV station that Joss and the suspect had often argued in the past, but that no violence had previously occurred. Despite years of complaints to the city and 311, neighbors stated that police had done little. Surprising, I know. In total, police had been called 74 times since January 2024. The reason for the calls include complaints by neighbors about fires, thefts, 9 calls in regards to shootings, 6 calls for mental health, and 5 for welfare checks. A previous incident on June 8, 2024, resulted in the suspect calling police, saying Joss was brandishing a crossbow. On May 24, 2024, reports of gunfire resulted in police confiscating Joss's firearms. Neighbors said that Joss's behavior was erratic and threatening. He sometimes appeared outside in the street while yelling, and in one incident, he was recorded on video holding a pitchfork while yelling and walking down the street. One neighbor said we would see him down the street yelling, ranting, and raving. It's a free country, though.
Okay, so we better walk you down the street, man. I can't get you back to walking, man. What? You don't speak? No español?
Quiero que lo grabes.
Say what you want. Walk you down the street. No, what's up here? But no, woo! You guys are taping me for what? I'm walking down the street. I'm rehearsing. I make movies, man. I'm rehearsing the scene. Let's go. Die.
Y se oye todo lo que está diciendo.
You still look like that? I'm not walking down the street. You're taping me. You pull a gun on somebody? That's reason for deportation, man. The cops dropped the case because they had no witnesses, right? But I had a witness. So I'm not going to policía. So we're going to reopen the case. And look, I don't have to do it just like the cops put you with me. The cops put you. But this is the case. Mine wasn't a felony. Yours would be a felony. Think about it. You read that paper, you sign it. Reason for deportation. I can yell, I can scream, I can pray. Whatever I want. And they don't think I'm crazy, they don't think I'm like me, I got the hand of God. Right there, man. You're taking pictures of me with
killed my dog. I should have dead. You're a coward. Don't even know how to take a gun up safe. You know me, I'm a man. At the scene of a crime, arson, they look at the people who's reporting, who's enjoying it. That's rule number one when they investigate a scene. So, since you had pleasure filming me with my dead dog, you're enjoying it. Come on. That was 4 officers watching you. Enjoy. Oh, goodness. You send me a copy of that? Because the last time you sent it to the police, guess what?
Joss's husband, Tristan Kern de Gonzales, posted on Facebook that the day they returned to their burned house, they found the skull and harness of one of their dogs, leading to severe emotional distress. He said the suspect yelled violent homophobic slurs before opening fire, and Joss pushed Kern de Gonzales out of the bullet's path, saving his life. Gonzales said neither he nor Joss were armed. Additionally, Kern de Gonzales alleged that various people in the area had for years verbally assaulted them with homophobic slurs and threats to burn down their home. Gonzales described the attack as a homophobic hate crime, stating that the suspect started yelling violent homophobic slurs at us. He then raised a gun from his lap and fired. The San Antonio Police Department released a statement saying that no evidence of a hate crime had yet been found, but the investigation was still ongoing.
It's a really common practice for police to investigate themselves and then find out that they did nothing wrong. That's a pretty common police tactic.
According to Kern de Gonzales, the couple had reported homophobic harassment to law enforcement multiple times and nothing was done. It's almost like the police are like bigoted bullies who peaked in high school, who just want to feel tough and protect rich people's property. Sigfredo Ceja Alvarez, the 56-year-old man charged with first-degree murder after police allege he admitted that he shot and killed Joss on June 1st, is no longer in police custody. Alvarez was released after posting a $200,000 special condition bond 1 day after his arrest. The court has ordered Alvarez to full house arrest and placed conditions for him to not purchase, possess, own, or use any firearms. A judge also issued Alvarez a no-contact order, although it is unclear to whom that applies. A pre-indictment hearing has been set for August.
Here is a picture of Jonathan's alleged quote-unquote husband. And you can see it here. The quote-unquote husband is on the left. Now, admittedly, like Ketanji Brown Jackson, I'm no biologist. But that looks a lot like a woman who is claiming to be a man. And indeed, this particular woman has a trans flag on her Facebook profile. In other words, there's no husband involved here. And as much as we all recognize that definitions and facts aren't really important to the LGBT movement, it seems like a big issue for their narrative that this was a homophobic attack. And given that little detail, you might be wondering, well, who exactly is this trans-identifying woman with every incentive to play the victim?
He wasn't even in a gay relationship.
You may feel like you keep juggling expensive supplements that are just getting more unaffordable to keep up with. If that's the case, then Everyday Dose will be a lifesaver for you. Everyday Dose transforms your morning coffee into a powerhouse of vitamins, minerals, and amino acids, all in one affordable cup.
Update! Now, why isn't this case charged as a hate crime? Well, that is something McManus says is up to the district attorney in Texas. McManus says a hate crime is added to a sentence. It is not something a person is charged with.
A statement, I believe it was the day after Jonathan Joss's murder, that was way, way, way premature. Shouldn't have done it. It was way too soon before we had any real information. And I will own that and simply say again that we shouldn't have done that. It was way too early in the process for any statement of that nature to be issued. We understand that many in the LGBTQ plus community are feeling anxious and concerned. A lot of it has to do with that premature statement that we released, and again, I own that. Shouldn't have done it.
This refusal to acknowledge the reality faced by LGBTQ plus people is exactly why Pride remains so vital. Pride is not just a celebration, it is a protest against violence, erasure, and indifference. Until every act of hate is recognized and confronted, the fight for dignity and safety must continue, now more than ever.